Welcome back to Champion Stadium for 6-8 of the Fans coverage of Atlanta Braves spring training. Ben Ingram alongside Kevin McAlpin. We are winding down the final days of spring training. Braves on Saturday have a ball game against the Mets. Sunday they will be taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, breaking in their brand new facility in Northport. Very excited about that. And then a couple of exhibition games Monday and Tuesday against the Cincinnati Reds at SunTrust Park. So Kevin, here in these final few days, we have some questions that we've been talking a lot about over the course of the spring, tossing back and forth. A lot of those around the bullpen, but I think we have an answer perhaps on Wes Parsons. I think he looked really good against the Tigers, and maybe a spot for him in this bullpen.
He looked really, really good, and he has his last handful of outings. 5 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings out of the Braves pen on Friday night against the Tigers here as they played under the lights for the final time at Disney. And yeah, I think he's made a strong case for himself to be in the opening day bullpen. Obviously the Braves are going to carry 4 starters, so 9 relievers kind of creates opportunities for certain guys. And this spring, to me, with injuries to Minter and O'Day, has been about, capitalizing on those opportunities. Well, Wes Parsons has certainly taken the ball and run with it, and he's been outstanding. So I like what we've seen. I'm excited about him as a guy who could really make an impact in the Braves bullpen to start the year.
Yeah, Wes Parsons, not Graham Parsons, as I accidentally called him earlier.
Did I call him that?
No, I did earlier in the spring for music lovers. Got my wires crossed. As far as the bullpen goes, news on A.J. Minter, because we're starting to figure out who the lefties are going to be in this bullpen now.
Yeah, Minter did throw a live bullpen session on field 2 this afternoon. Said he felt good, a little rusty because it's been a few weeks since he's gotten off the mound. Of course, he dealt with that shoulder discomfort, left shoulder discomfort after that minor little fender bender. He said he felt really good. He told me the plan is, barring any setbacks or discomfort, he'll throw a couple of minor league games probably as early as Monday or Tuesday. Couple of appearances. I asked him, he said he'd probably like to go back-to-back, after he gets a couple of those under his belt. He's hoping to be healthy and ready to go and join the Braves bullpen probably the second week of the season. So that's a really big boost for the Braves pen that's taken a few really big hits here this spring. Losing Minter, losing O'Day, he's still shut down, not throwing to this point. So as far as what you do in the ninth, you're going to see Arodys Vizcaino as the closer, but once Minter's healthy, once he's worked back into the mix, I think you can see both those guys sort of sharing the duty in the ninth inning.
As far as other lefties go, Johnny Venters, Max Fried, Jesse Biddle, where do you see some of these guys for the bullpen?
Yeah, I think Max Fried's the guy that I'm keeping a close eye on here. I mean, Venters has been really, really good. As Brian McCann said, the sinker is as good as he's seen it in years. Still has the hard sinker, still up there mid-90s, so Johnny obviously will be in the bullpen. Jesse Biddle has been kind of up and down here this spring, but I think he'll break with the big league club. And then Max Fried, you're going to carry 9 relievers, an opportunity to carry a guy who can give you 2 or 3, maybe even 4 innings. He's stretched out as a starter, so I think that Max Fried certainly will be in the pen to start the year. Now, what happens when you need that 5th starter? Does he go into the rotation? Does he go back down to the AAA to get stretched back out? The big question I have when we're speaking about lefties right now is Sean Newcomb, and where does he fit into the equation? Alex Anthopoulos told Steak, Sandra, and Finn the other day, this team's going to take guys that throw strikes. They're going to take the best guys. Well, if you're talking about guys that throw strikes and you're taking the best guys, I don't know that Sean Newcomb really fits that category right now, so it wouldn't shock me at all if maybe he's on the outside looking in with this rotation right now.
Well, and that's really shocking news, because had you asked us before the season started, who are the starting pitchers going to be for that first series in Philadelphia, would have said Folty, followed by Newcomb, and then probably Kevin Gausman.
Yep.
It might not be any of those 3. Obviously, it won't be Folty. We'll see what happens with Gausman as he continues to progress here towards the end of spring. And who knows what they're going to do with Sean Newcomb. He's not throwing strikes. His last outing against the Blue Jays was not a good one. I thought his fastball velocity was good. I thought his secondary stuff was good, but just couldn't locate the fastball. Missed up and away a lot. And that's problematic because he's been consistently missing. Meanwhile, young guys like Bryce Wilson, Touki Toussaint, Max Fried, and others, Kyle Wright, they've been throwing strikes. So continuing with what you mentioned with what Alex said on the front row, he doesn't care about the ages of these guys or their lack of experience. All he cares about is guys throwing strikes, and those guys have done that. Could be pretty telling, because those are decisions that will have to be made here in the next few days.
The one thing I've loved all spring, too, when we're talking about the young pitchers, whether it's Kyle Wright or Touki or Bryce Wilson, Kyle Wright yesterday told me the same thing that Bryce said on Monday against the Yankees here. He said, look, if I'm going to get beat, I'd rather get beat with a home run than a bunch of walks. how refreshing is that to hear a young guy that says, look, I'm going to challenge guys, and if they're going to beat me, I tip my cap and I move on. So, you know, Kyle Wright had a rough outing on Thursday, but you know what? I don't look at one inning as, you know, deterrent for what he's done all spring. So they're going to take the guys that throw strikes, and those young guys have done that all spring long.
All right, one final question for you. The lineup that we saw versus the Tigers, you think that's the exact same lineup we see opening day Thursday against the Phillies?
It is, and it's sort of been what we've seen all spring. Ender leading off with Ronald Acuna hitting cleanup. Personally, I know there's some fans out there that don't like that. I know there's some fans that want to see Acuna hitting leadoff. I like it. I like the fact, and we talked about this on the Clubhouse Report this offseason, I like the fact they're going to put Acuna in run RBI opportunities. You know, obviously he was so good at leadoff, but I think what you're going to see is Ender leading off, Donaldson, Freeman, Acuna, followed by Markakis, Ozzie, whoever's catching that night. It'll probably be Brian McCann, and then Dansby hitting eighth, and then the pitcher. So what you saw on Friday night, I think, is what you're going to see 5 days from now in Philadelphia.
All right, I got good news. This is the last weekend without regular season baseball games for a long time.
How about it?
Braves and Phillies starting up on Thursday, and we'll see you all back in Atlanta Monday and Tuesday as the Braves face the Reds in a couple of exhibition games. Off Wednesday, opening day Thursday up in Philadelphia, and then the Braves come home to see the Cubs on April 1st. Kevin, I know that you'll be covering these last few ball games here in Florida. I'm finished, so I'll see you back in Atlanta. I'll see you all back in Atlanta as well.
He's going to turn the lights out on the way out, too. Make sure you flip the switch.